Hello there. Welcome back. Wow, that was one hell of an episode we had last week, isn't it?
It was, yeah. So much fun.
So much fun. 10 out of 10 IGN rates would do again. Anyway, welcome back to Star Wars in a Galaxy, the regular episodes, watching all the Star Wars we can get our hands on.
That's right. And today we have the 80th to the 100th minute.
60 to 80.
the 60th to the 80th minutes of Attack of the Clones.
Yes,
we
do.
Got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it.
Actually, before we get right into it, I like to credit Jacob for this idea. In a Galaxy, we'll be taking on a slightly new flavor. Imagine you got your vanilla ice cream. We're adding a couple, mint chips into this.
Yeah, we're adding some swirls.
We're adding some swirls into it. Jacob, explain to the lovely people out there how we're changing it up a tiny, tiny bit. The memes will still be there. The comedy will still be there, but what are we adding?
We're trying to add a little bit more analytical, research-focused elements, maybe some fun facts, some kind of questions that we have. We went out and researched them before the episode started to try and get some insights into behind the scenes and the lore a little more. So I think it's going to be a positive change, and I think it's going to be fun.
Remember all those questions we left unanswered, and half of them I'd have to do a future Eli on them in our actual episodes? That's not going to happen anymore. Actually, it's going to happen.
At least not as much.
Not as much. It's like we're not answering all the questions we have, but we're going to answer some of them because we just thought that'd make a slightly more interesting episode. Because Star Wars has an in-lore explanation for pretty much about anything. So,
yeah.
So let's get into this. This segment takes place primarily on two planets. Ironically, not the same two planets as last session. Last time we were on Naboo and Kamino. This time we're on Tatooine and Geonosis.
Yes.
So let's just get into this.
There are a lot of planets in this movie.
Yeah, there are. They jump around a lot. Especially when you go back, studying for our Trivia Showdown thing, I watched A New Hope again. New Hope, there are two planets primarily featured, and one of them actually isn't really even a planet at all.
The Death Star?
Yeah. So,
yeah,
it's a far cry from A New Hope in this. So, let's just get into this. So,
yeah, all right, let's do it.
So we start on Tatooine. What do you have for? Actually, I guess we are on Kamino too. Actually, in this one, but Tatooine.
Okay, Tatooine. Don't we start on
We start on Naboo. Never mind. We start on Naboo.
No, we start on Kamino. Wait, there was no Naboo in this section. Was there?
Anakin with the nightmare and Padme just for a couple minutes.
Oh yeah, I didn't have anything about Naboo. I may have watched a different part. I'm not sure.
Anakin with the nightmare.
Did your part ended right when Shmi died?
Yes, my part ended exactly when Shmi died. Yeah, no.
Maybe I started too late. I don't know.
Yeah, it was literally just Anakin and Padme for a minute talking about the vision that Anakin had, the nightmare of his mother in danger. So this is where some of my research kicked in, actually, with the nightmare. I wanted to know, Anakin had a vision, and I know other Jedi also have visions sometimes when things are happening in the Force. Luke has it in ESB, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And other Jedi have visions other times, I think Sifo Dyas had a vision, which prompted him to create the clone army. And I did a little research into Jedi visions, and from what I found, Anakin's vision, even though it was real, it didn't actually, it couldn't have, it also couldn't be real. You know what I'm trying to say? There was a possibility that Anakin was just having a vision of something that could happen, but actually didn't happen. As Yoda says in, I believe it's Empire Strikes Back, always in motion is the future. So Anakin couldn't have had, like, his mother could have not been in danger, is what I'm trying to say. Also, I did a little research. Did you notice that, or maybe you didn't because you don't remember this part, but did you notice that when Anakin's like, I gotta go save my mother, the Force theme plays?
Yeah, I did notice that. That if we're talking about that section, I actually had quite a few observations. Number one, I think it's cool symbolism, the way it mirrors Luke Skywalker in the original, very original movie, kind of looking out over the same scenery in the same place at the sunset. Secondly, the shadows. When the shot goes to the shadows, it kind of shows Anakin's shadow looking a little bit like Darth Vader.
Yeah, to show his growing allegiance. Yeah, that's actually what I found online. Apparently someone's done studies of the music in Star Wars, and whenever the Force theme plays, it's to signify a character's growing or present allegiance to the light or dark side of the Force.
I think in Anakin's case, it's the dark side.
It's the dark. So yeah. And so yeah, it's really cool thing, and I think we're gonna do a music episode pretty soon for a special episode on In a Galaxy. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. I think it was interesting also how the music kind of felt more fitting to the prequels, because in the originals that song was kind of usually done with like the horns kind of,
Yeah.
and it felt kind of almost I don't know quite what's word, bold, but in this it was done with like all the string instruments, the violins, the violas, the cellos, and I thought that did a much more I guess kind of refined feeling, which I thought really
less grand, sort of.
In a way kind of less grand but more refined, kind of like high culture, which kind of reminded me of like the Republic, and I think it's very fitting for the prequels, and kind of I think it's very fitting for the mood and the aesthetic and the feeling of the prequels. I thought that was I don't know quite how to describe what I'm thinking, but
yeah, no, I think that was I get what you're saying.
It was a cool call.
Cut to we're now on Camino. First thing we see, Obi-Wan whips out his lightsaber. And here's my question. I did not research this one, so maybe you have some insight into this one. Obi-Wan whips out his lightsaber because he's going to try and arrest Jango Fett. Jango Fett immediately pulls out his blasters.
Yeah.
Why does he do that?
Because when you see someone pull out a lightsaber, I mean, they both know that they're enemies. They both know kind of that they're enemies. I think that's kind of clear to both of them at that point. Like,
yeah,
Jango's been chased by Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's been chasing. I think it's not chasing, but he saw Jango Fett. He saw the armor. So I think it makes sense to me.
It does seem very like It does seem very they have a lot of pleasantries going on between Obi-Wan and Jango, which I find a little strange, given that they kind of both know they're enemies. It's a weird.
Well, I think they're trying to kind of play nice.
Yeah. I gotta say, in all seriousness, though, this is the first scene in this movie that I have actually enjoyed. Like, really gotten into. I'm like, yeah, this is good. I mean, I think the biggest I'm constantly saying, Attack of the Clones, if we just do the first 30 minutes, it's fine. Not the first 30, the last 30 minutes, that movie is great, but everything else, that movie kind of sucks. The biggest loss, I think, of cutting everything else out other than the last 30 minutes is this scene right here. This fight, I'm tempted to say that this fight is the best fight between a Force user and a non-Force user in Star Wars, period.
I think it's also one of the only fights, like one of the only like major long-form fights. I have a few observations about it, though.
Jacob, General Grievous,
and
anyone else.
Oh, I wasn't really counting that because he uses lightsabers, so I wasn't thinking of him. But yeah,
And
I guess
also
you're
like
right.
there's other stuff with Boba Fett and like
Bear, Boba Fett, like Bear, not any. Boba Fett doesn't have any long form fights like
yeah,
this,
I
like a
guess
proper
so.
showdown.
I'm trying to
So
think of, I guess in TV shows more like
yeah, there's more in TV
Cad
shows.
Bane
Yeah, yeah.
and what's who else? Cad Bane and I guess Boba Fett in the TV shows has a lot more action than Boba Fett in the movies, especially in Clone Wars.
Yeah. I thought it was I thought there was something I kind of was thinking about this, and there was something about the scene, the action that bugged me, and I wasn't sure what it was, and then I hit on it. Kind of in all these action scenes in the prequels, there seems to be this weird combination, and I think this is a pretty persistent problem, especially in the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, in these action scenes. There are a lot of moments in action scenes where there could be dialogue, or not that there necessarily always has to be, but that there could be dialogue, and that there could be yelling or something happening, but instead they just zoom in on someone's face, or they zoom in on an object over and over again, and just the effect that it has, combined with the overall lack of dialogue in these scenes, it's kind of jarring, I would
I see
say.
what you mean, but judging by the absolutely terrible dialogue of the prequels, I'm actually kind of grateful that there's like I see your problem and I would have that problem too, but I also kind of know in the back of my mind I'm not actually missing any quality dialogue, you know what I'm trying to say?
That's true. It still just kind of bugs
No, I get
me
it. I
a
get
bit,
it.
you know.
Yeah. No, I totally. Yeah. I also wrote. This is the most bit. This is the best bit of research I did. I think it was really interesting. So Obi-Wan is fighting Jango Fett on Camino. What's a very, um, very prominent quality of Camino? Well, it rains a
It's
lot.
wet, it's rainy, yes.
Um, and so I'm like, oh, Obi-Wan must have waterproofed his lightsaber. I should research that. And so I did. Waterproof lightsabers use something called a
Yep.
bifurcating cyclical and ignition pulse,
Oh
which
yeah,
uses
I've heard
two
that. Yeah,
crystals to help the lightsaber work in water-heavy environments. That's kind of legends, I think, but it's still kind of cool. And
that is
so
cool. Yeah.
so I
Did he know he
pulled
was
that
gonna
up.
go to Like, I'm just kind of wondering, like, did he know, or did he just waterproof it?
Maybe I'd have to assume that all Jedi put bifurcating cyclical ignition pulses, or all the wise Jedi have to put those things because you
Yeah,
never really know.
because in Water War, in the like the Mon Calamari arc in the Clone
Anakin
Wars,
has
all
them,
the
Ahsoka
Jedi's.
has them,
Yeah,
Kit Fisto has them. You have to assume that because their
yeah.
lightsabers are doing completely fine in there.
But I think it's interesting because in a bunch of reference books, they like mention how Kit Fisto has it, and they make it seem like it's like a special thing or something. So
But
I'm
Obi
wondering if
Wan
maybe
must
it's
have
not
it.
like the standard. Yeah, Obi-Wan must
Yeah.
have it.
I
I
also
mean, it was
love.
probably something that was, to be honest, it was probably like retconned in because we never hear it mentioned in the movie. So
Yeah, probably.
he probably,
Um,
to be honest, George Lucas probably just wasn't thinking of it. But
yeah. I also love. Did you notice this one? Of course, we in a galaxy love our Easter eggs. Um, and of course we have Jango Fett bumping his head on the door of the Slave One.
wait, we do? I
Yep. Jango Fett entering the Slave
What?
One bumps his head as a nod to the
Oh my
stormtrooper who
god!
does the same in New Hope.
Wow, it's great that Jango Fett has such an appreciation for the movies. You gotta love that, you know.
Jango Fett, huge
Like,
original
wow,
trilogy
what a
fan.
guy.
What a guy! What a guy! Yeah, no, I'm surprised you didn't. Okay, that is. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
That kind of cements Obi-Wan's, like, I guess, reputation as a troll, maybe
Oh
a little
yeah,
bit, you
no,
know.
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan,
Kenobi is the
master of trolling.
master of trolling, and we're
Kind of
gonna see
reminds me of
that
that, to be honest.
in the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith.
He's so much of a troll.
He
I
is.
love James Arnold Taylor's portrayal of him because he makes him like the biggest troll, and I think that's just, it
Yeah,
fits his character so well.
he recently just celebrated his 52nd birthday, James Arnold Taylor, and I
Oh yeah, I saw
called
on
out
his
to him
Instagram.
on Twitter. I'm like, yeah, thanks for doing all that you do for Obi-Wan. I'm so excited to get into the Clone Wars because James Arnold Taylor, although he's my probably third favorite Kenobi actor, the competition is stiff. You
Aren't there
know,
only 3 Kenobi actors?
yeah, but he's up against Ewan and Alec Guinness.
That's true.
I
I
mean,
mean, they're all amazing
they're
in
all
their job,
absolutely
so I feel like
incredible. I know Jacob's
I
more of an
feel
Alec Guinness
hesitant
guy,
to
and I'm more of a
compare
Ewan
them, to be
McGregor
honest.
guy. But yeah, James Arnold Taylor is amazing, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, they're all amazing.
They're all great. Yeah. So nothing about Camino. We should probably move
Let
on
me see.
to.
Let me see. I really liked, for some reason, the shots of the ship taking off were really cool. Shots of the Slave One taking off. But I thought it was weird how many shots there were of like Obi-Wan's lightsaber.
Interesting. I
But
didn't
it
really
felt like
notice
there were a
that.
lot of shots where it zoomed in on the lightsaber, sort of.
Interesting. Maybe they're like, oh wait, we gotta remind them, guys. This is
He
Star
lost his
Wars.
lightsaber.
No, I was gonna go with, hey, guys. It's Star Wars. There's actual fighting in this movie. I'm sorry, we've been doing a lot of the romance sand stuff, and I'm sorry about that. But this is Star Wars. Remember that. I don't know. That's always what I come back to with this movie. Is it doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie because there isn't up until the end that much action in it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see what else. So then Anakin and Padme venture off to Tatooine. Since Tatooine and Geonosis happen kind of at the same time, like we flash back between the first half of Geonosis and all of Tatooine. Maybe we should do what we did in episode 18.
Can we talk about the chase first, maybe? Because that feels like the logical
Okay, yeah, let's do the
that comes
chase.
after Camino. So the chase. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I was about to. Here's one more thing of my research, and then I'll hand it over to you with the chase because I can see you have stuff to talk about with the chase. But I actually did some research about this because I was asking myself. So you know that ring that Kenobi has and all the Jedi have for going to hyperspace?
Yeah, the hyperspace ring.
Yeah, I'm like, so we don't see that in the original trilogy and sequel trilogy. I know why, because, you know, that wasn't thought of in the original trilogy, and they just didn't carry it on to the sequel trilogy, because, you know, if the original trilogy doesn't have it, why would the sequel trilogy have it?
Yeah.
But I wanted to get an in-universe answer. And the funny thing is, I couldn't actually find a good answer. The one thing I could tell was, oh yeah, around the time of the original trilogy, single-person starfighters just started to have hyperdrives in them.
Really? Wow.
That's literally all I could find is, yeah, they just started having hyperdrives in them.
That's interesting because I feel like you don't really see a lot of technological development in Star Wars. It feels static. But if that's actually canon, that's an interesting observation.
It is. I just like it's a little weird for me, but like because like, oh yeah, around the original trilogy they just kind of started to have starfighters. Well, what was preventing them before? That would be a really interesting.
Probably the technology, I would assume.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
What I
know.
found most interesting was I just realized that the Slave One is the only vertical ship in Star Wars, but I actually researched it and I found a good reason. Apparently,
wait.
What?
The Colossus from Resistance.
What?
The
Okay,
Colossus from Star Wars Resistance is a vertical ship, technically.
I do not watch Resistance, but
okay, you're gonna
I'm
have to
sure
take
that
my
if
word.
I did, I would have seen the Colossus. So yeah. Also, Boba Fett, a 10-year-old kid, and he knows how to fly a spaceship. That is.
He probably learned from his dad, you know.
Yeah, but like, man, Jango Fett, I can't tell. Like, do you think he's raising them? Do you think he's raising Boba right? He's either raising Boba extremely right or extremely wrong.
I'd go with wrong because Jango Fett doesn't seem like even Din Djarin seems like a better parent than Jango Fett.
He doesn't seem like a very approachable guy. Maybe it's a
Djarin,
Mandalorian thing. Yeah.
Even Din Djarin seems like a better parent than Jango Fett.
That's a good point.
I mean, honestly though, How bad of a parent can you be when you have Baby Yoda as a kid?
Pretty bad, as Din Djarin shows us.
I don't think so. But anyway, I do like the fact, I don't know if you noticed this, but in that chase, in the chase with Jango and Kenobi, did you notice the thing with when Jango hid in an asteroid and then
Yeah,
Obi-Wan,
that was pretty cool.
And did you realize what it was a callback to?
Oh, it was a callback to him clinging on the outside of the Star Destroyer.
It was a callback to Boba waiting in an asteroid for Han in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, you mean that part? Oh, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and Boba would remember the trick because his father pulled it on that scoundrel's best friend's mentor. Small galaxy. Small galaxy.
Can we talk about Boba for a second, though? The Boba is a psycho. Like, he sees...
Are you talking about, get him, Dad, get him! Fire!
Yeah, okay, yeah, in my opinion, there's a few weird things going on there. First of all, Boba is a sadist or something.
Oh, absolutely. Boba is totally a sadist.
He's crazy.
But that's only because Jango's a sadist.
Yeah, that's true. Secondly, he's like, his voice is so high, but it sounds like he's trying to sound tough. He's like, get him, Dad, get him, yeah. When they think Obi-Wan is dead, Boba goes, ha ha ha, yeah. That's just that is disturbing to me.
No, and then Jango plays along with him. Well, we won't be seeing him again.
I know. Oh my gosh! Like, how are you raising your son?
Not great. But of course, Star Wars has always had questionable father figures.
Yeah. Another thing about the I just realized about the fight scene. If we can go back to that for a sec, it's very inconsistent and a little confusing to me. What lasers make explosions and what don't? Because Boba Fett fires a rocket, right, and that makes an explosion, which Obi-Wan handles very well for the fact that
you mean Jango?
A rocket launcher just exploded 3 feet from his face.
Did you mean Jango, or was that?
Yeah, I meant Jango. And then he shoots the once he gets on board, he shoots the main laser cannons at Obi-Wan, and they make the exact same kind of explosion. And then, I guess not in them, but in the Clone... That's interesting because in the Clone Wars, those laser cannons, when they're fired at Grievous in the episode with the Padawans, they don't make an explosion. The same laser cannon. So I think it's interesting. There seems to be an inconsistency in Star Wars of which laser weapons generate fiery explosions versus just go into the surface and
that is interesting. I think
don't do anything.
Some of them are relevant to the plot. I think some of them aren't relevant to the plot.
Yeah, definitely not very relevant to the plot, but still.
Anyway,
something I thought was worth bringing up.
Also, we get what I call the Holdo maneuver before the Holdo maneuver, the seismic charge. That was some cool sound design. That is some awesome sound design.
It is pretty awesome.
Right there. I love that. The only thing that beats, in my opinion, is actually the Holdo maneuver, which is awesome. Yeah. But I really do like those seismic charges. I've always liked those. Those are really cool.
It was another great It was another great thing, but I also find it kind of I also found that scene kind of irksome to watch. The way it the same thing, the way it kept cutting back and forth. It had the same problem where no dialogue, but it kept cutting back and forth, and it was just kind of jarring and I almost want to say frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
It didn't make a lot of sense to me, but oh well.
Yeah. I know, I get that.
It is what it is.
That's all I have for that. The chase between Jango and Obi-Wan. Do you have anything?
Not really. Nothing I researched.
So then we're to Tatooine, a location so popular that out of the 12 Star Wars movies, it's in 7 of them.
In 7? Wow.
Yeah. Of all the theatrical Star Wars movies, Episode 1, it's in Episode 1. That's 1. It's in Episode 2. It's in the Clone Wars movie. It's in Revenge of the Sith. It's in A New Hope. It's not in Empire Strikes Back, but it is in Return of the Jedi. Not Force Awakens. Not Rogue One. Not Last Jedi. Not Solo, but Rise of Skywalker. So there's 7.
It was in Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, very end.
What?
Rey goes to Tatooine, the Lars homestead. Here's my unpopular opinion for this take. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Silver C-3PO sucks. Gold C-3PO is the only C-3PO I'm accepting.
That's unpopular?
I don't know if it's unpopular. It just might be controversial.
I guess.
But
maybe just strongly held.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Silver C-3PO.
Why don't you like what do you
just doesn't look I don't know. He doesn't look like C-3PO. He looks like another droid. That's what it is. He does not look like C-3PO. Looks like another droid.
I think he looks like C-3PO but silver.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never really liked Silver C-3PO.
Yeah, that's fine.
But anyway, of course we meet the Lars. Owen and Beru, played by Joel Edgerton and Bonnie. P.S. There's actually a rumor floating around for a long time that Joel Edgerton has been approached to return as Owen Lars in Kenobi.
That would be pretty crazy.
And that would be pretty cool. Jacob,
yeah.
So we learned that Shmi Skywalker was captured. Jacob, how was Shmi Skywalker captured?
She was harvesting mushrooms.
Yes, she was. And yes, I'm gonna be forever salty about that.
It's fine. I was trying to make that one hard. I wasn't.
No, I know. It was. I just I didn't realize it was gonna be the episode after we recorded the trivia thing, and so when I watched that, I'm like, yeah, that hurts.
You're like, oh no.
Yeah, that hurts really bad.
Oh no.
No, don't worry. I was gonna mention something about Matt Wood, but I decided not to because.
Yeah. And then we get it's interesting that doesn't Duel of the Fates play while Anakin rides across the desert?
Yes, it does, which is very good.
It's Duel of the Fates. I thought that was cool. I was slightly confused as to why they chose that, but
oh, I think it's actually pretty straightforward why they chose that. Anakin's fate is tied to this moment. The decisions he makes directly before, during, and after he finds his mother dead will determine literally everything for the next 20-25 years.
You mean like do I go on a genocidal rampage?
Do I give in to my anger?
Do I go on a murderous rampage, or do I do what
a Jedi does?
Or do I behave like a normal person? That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Also, I always found it odd. His like, oh, I'm gonna slaughter them all. Ooh,
I want to step back a little bit. Okay. I want to step back a little bit. 2 things about this that are interesting that I did a little research about. Number 1, I wanted to know what happened to Klieg Lars, so I looked it up. There's no canonical answer of what happened to Klieg Lars, but there is a Legends answer, which I like, and I'm going to assume. In Legends, 2 years after this, so that's 2 years into the Clone Wars, he dies of a broken heart and injuries.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Which is,
That seems like... That's sad.
It's sad, but it's fitting, I think.
Yeah, it is. He lost the will to live.
He lost the will... That's why, the Skywalker thing. I know that... How is Klieg related to Padme? Let's see. Father-in-law. That makes sense. Stepfather-in-law is what I'm going with. Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. That's really good. Anyway, so yeah, it's these Skywalker things, dying of broken. This is really cool. I like this. In Legends, I'm 99% sure. I didn't actually look this up. But in Legends, I'm pretty sure it was very it was revealed in Legends that Dooku actually hired the Tusken Raiders to kidnap Anakin's mother.
Bro, that actually makes a lot of sense, I think. Which
I think should be canon, because it would be great. it would be one more step in the sinister Palpatine plan. Yeah, so...
Plan Patine.
Plan Patine. Moral of the story, do not hire Palpatine to plan your wedding or birthday party or anything. Also, that's a reference. I just made a reference to a channel called Super Carlin Brothers, who I love, do Harry Potter and Star Wars videos. Go check them out. Don't hire Voldemort to plan your wedding. Also, don't hire Palpatine to plan your wedding. But anyway, anything else on Tatooine, just specifically not Geonosis?
No, nothing for Tatooine. I have stuff for Geonosis, but no. Not
yeah,
Tatooine,
I have stuff for... Actually, one more thing. Did you notice that when Anakin is sneaking into the Tusken Raider camp, you know that shot where he's up above, right?
Yeah.
You hear very deep and loud drums.
You do hear deep and loud drums.
The same drums that played when Maul is stalking Qui-Gon right before he kills him, when Qui-Gon's meditating.
Really?
Those are the same drums.
Whoa.
Sinister intentions. Boom. Yeah. So, Geonosis, what do you got? I have some stuff.
First off, a question that doesn't really have an answer. How does Dooku not sense Obi-Wan when they're right there?
My answer to that is, it's a very flimsy answer. I have a very flimsy answer to that, which is...
Okay.
He was preoccupied.
Yeah, that's pretty flimsy, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's pretty flimsy. I agree. That's the best answer I can come up with. There's no good reason that Dooku doesn't sense Obi-Wan there, but Maul in Season 7 of the Clone Wars senses Ahsoka through a hologram in the Martez arc. Remember that?
That part for me, the thing where he senses him through the hologram, that's just like what? That makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, side tangent. I've always been a little confused about how holograms work, because it seems like, the whole 3-dimensional thing, like, and it's like you can look around the room and just all this stuff that doesn't make sense about how they work and how you can be big or small, or like...
This is actually hilarious. I'm pretty sure I heard this exact same conversation happening on an episode of Kessel Run Radio with Noah Outlaw and Corey Van Dyke, which is it's a really cool podcast. They were the one they have really good sources too. They were the one who announced the Lando thing.
Oh, okay.
They were the one. They have really cool sources, and they're also just like a discussion podcast. In the first episode of their podcast, I want to say, not the first episode, but they were doing a season 7 episode review, and they were literally talking about this exact thing with holograms and how they work. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense how Maul detects Ahsoka through the Force.
Or just any other thing where you can like look around the room, or you like the scaling of it, like, and just being able to see. Yeah, I would say for that, just suspend disbelief.
Yeah, suspend disbelief for that. And so Dooku's gathering leaders from all over the galaxy who want out of the Republic. We have, of course, Nute Gunray, because Nute Gunray follows on along with any sinister intentions. Shumai, Apostle Argente, and Apollo the Lesser, and my personal favorite. You know who I'm going with? Wat Tambor.
Feel so bad for Wat Tambor. He just gets embarrassed. The whole
we gotta play the Techno Union meme. Techno Union meme.
What's the Techno Union meme?
You don't know. You were the one who sent the Techno Union meme to me.
I don't know the Techno Union meme anymore.
Oh, the Techno Union. Oh my god.
I've completely forgotten what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, you sent me this meme. This meme is fire. Oh my god. I'm 99% sure you were the one that sent me that meme.
Yeah, I think
that meme is fire.
Fake. Oh my god, what?
We will leave the link to that in the description of the podcast.
The Techno Union.
The Techno Union. With real techno
Obi-Wan escapes
music.
with minimal hearing damage.
Oh
my gosh,
Ellie
then the whole
does.
thing starts, the roof starts falling apart. There's such generic names. Like, I get that they're trying to get that I get that they're trying to say that they're
Yeah,
being
but
backed by
Commerce
corporate
Guild,
interests.
Corporate Alliance, and Banking Clan all sound like the exact same thing.
And there's also one called like it's not mentioned in the movie, but there's one called the Retail Consortium or something, right?
Retail Caucus.
The Retail Caucus, yeah, the Retail Caucus. That's it. So there's the Retail Caucus, the Corporate Alliance, and the Commerce Guild.
And the Banking Clan all sound like
Wow.
the exact same thing.
Wow, that is definitely not at all redundant.
No, absolutely not.
Super original.
Super original. Absolutely, 100%. Also, in the back, I don't know if you noticed, this is a sort of Galaxy of Heroes Easter egg. Sun Fac is there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sun Fac is there.
He's Poggle the Lesser's chief lieutenant and an instrumental tank to the Geonosian squad in Galaxy of Heroes. And given your recent history with Geonosians, I think you'd know that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I only have a couple more things. Do you have anything about Geonosis do you have anything about what we see on Geonosis?
No, not really.
Okay, so we gotta reference this final plot point, of course. Anakin goes into that Tusken Raider camp, and the tent, and finds his mother dead.
Wow.
And
genuinely,
and the segment we watched
very sad
literally ends. The second it ends is Shmi dying in Anakin's arms, which is absolutely heartbreaking.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. I'm being a little nitpicky. It feels a little overblown, maybe. Though
of course, she dies the classic Star Wars character death. Head back and done.
Yeah, and the way she's kind of like, there's all this death battling. It's just like, oh, it goes on and on.
It takes you out of the moment a little bit.
It takes you out of the moment, I think, but
it is
genuinely really sad.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see Hayden Christensen get a little more emotional, but he did his best. It wasn't really his fault what happened to him. And yeah. I feel like obviously it's very sad. Yeah. That being said, did he have to go
about to happen next?
Maniac mode, full mass murderer mode?
Yeah, what's about to happen next is even worse.
Which is that? Is that the Sand People Tusken Raider massacre?
Yep.
That was what I was referring to.
Not just the men,
but the women and the children too. Oh God.
That's everything I have for this episode, and I think probably that's everything you have for this episode.
Yeah, I think that's
it. Thanks for watching In a Galaxy. Our next episode will be chugging along as usual. We'll be watching the 80th to 100th minute of Attack of the Clones. We only have 2 more watch sessions for Attack of the Clones, believe it or not.
Wow.
It's 80 to 100 and then 100 to 136. So yeah, that's crazy. Make sure to, do all the stuff. Follow us on Anchor, Breaker, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple, and anywhere else you find your podcasts. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. We are at In a Galaxy Pod. Email us. We're at swinagalaxy@gmail.com. Jacob, you wanna outro us out, I guess you could say?
And may the Force be with you.
That was perfect. Okay, see you guys later.